I figure by now anybody that's watching the videos that I put up, and this is simply a short one, and it's mostly in response to Simon Parks. And for those of you that don't know who Simon Parks is, he's in the spiritual community. He basically is a source of intelligence because of the connections that he has within his family to the intelligence agencies out of the UK. Okay, James Bond stuff. So one of the things that he talked about this morning, okay, was Q. Okay, Q as in quantum computer. Okay, now obviously if you have seen a lot of my earlier videos about functions in the information sciences, computers, what is a computer? It's a data processor, high speed. Okay, data is electrons. Okay, and you got photons. So the information is held within the light. So how much information are you aware of? Infinite. Information is infinite. So you can experience infinite information that's held in infinite light, which is infinite love. Okay, that's how I break it down because it's real simple. That's why I was mentioning before. I experience the information at the moment, which is known as a magnetic moment, when the circuit is completed in the light, what it is that I'm supposed to know at the moment I'm supposed to know it. In order to do what? Use it because it has value to do what? Produce a positive timeline. So he was talking about timelines. A lower timeline, a higher timeline. So I've explained how density consciousness works based on, in this case, as simple as pH. When your cells are happy, you're feeling the happiness that the living cells in our body are experiencing. We're experiencing higher frequency energy. Now, I would think that we would all want to experience that. That's a positive timeline. Okay, so I've explained this before. Most of the people that I run into are pounding sugar into the body every single day trying to escape the avatar. And that's parasitic programming. Because everything that these demons threw at us was meant to do what? Put us in a lower emotional state, traumatize us. So everything that they threw at us, from poisoning the air, poisoning the water, poisoning the soil, and everything we eat, was designed to do what? Keep us in a low state. Why? So we have a negative timeline. Collapse our own timeline. So now we get into what's known as probability functions. So if you're going to run a computer, quantum, the speed of light, as Simon mentioned, the speed of light is based on the observer. Okay, so you ought to pretty well know that if you're trying to kill off your body and your body's trying to keep you alive, okay, by producing more alkaline, okay, and then storing fatty acid because the operator's trying to kill itself off by putting a waste product into them that can't be metabolized. So what does it do? It stores it. Otherwise, you'd be dead. So what I suggested on my Facebook page is, listen, mass media has to end because all they do is lie, okay? And it's obvious that they, in a very real sense, represent, as President Trump says, the enemy, okay? So therefore, they're committing crimes. And those crimes result in harm. And on this planet, love is a law, and that's a frequency, okay? So I thought, when I work with children, explaining how a timeline works with a child is actually simple, okay? So I would suggest that President Trump, somebody from that team, take the time to address the nation and explain that the future is in everybody's hands. What kind of a timeline do you want to experience in the future? The future you, okay? And in very simple times, okay, embark on a conversation with America to explain how simply that we are at a place where we're shifting. We want to go to a higher timeline. Now, we naturally don't want to lose nobody because we would love to have everybody come with us because we love all life. All life is sacred in living spirit. So that's why we naturally know how to keep our bodies recharged with a lot of love in our heart. So when people realize that you're giving them information that they realize is packed with a lot of love and a lot of compassion and empathy for who they are, they ought to be able to realize, using basic logic and intelligence alone, that this information is coming from people that obviously care about them. Because it's common sense. Okay? So I thought that, in effect, would have exponentially in the morphogenetic field structure a rise in the quantitative probability, and of course it's qualitative, because that means that the energy they're going to experience in quality is going to be higher than what they're experiencing right now. Rather than being in a state of fear of what the hell is going to happen next, they begin to realize that, hey, our future is in our hands. That's right, it is. Okay? So I suggested that to Simon Parks, posted it on my Facebook page, and I hope it sticks. Okay? Now I realize, in my case, we already won this. I already experienced the other side of this when I was a child. And that's simply, believe it or not, data processing using quantitative and probability functions. Okay? It's like having a built-in looking glass with a high-speed processor. Because you know what you're connected to. Higher intelligence. Laniakea. Connected to Laniakea. Imagine being connected to a mind that big. Okay? So that's why we're here. To end the insanity. Okay? People killing themselves off by their own behavior without even realizing that they're doing it. As a result of massive systemic and global abuse. The abuse ends. Love has always been the law on this planet. It's a healing center. So we need to do that. Because I love and I care about all you. God knows how many light workers and healers down here have had to experience everything we've had to experience, all the suffering that others have experienced because they never learned how this works in such basic elemental terms of how a light works. Okay? So I think it's time that the world be addressed with an enormous amount of love and compassion and show them the basics of how their future timeline works. It's simple. Do it. Have some children come on that can explain it to the adult community. Okay? That would be great. Anyway, thank you a lot. I love you all. Have a great day.